Hello and welcome to Let's Play Stardew Valley, episode 15. We're here on the first morning of summer in year 1. I've got a smoked fish waiting for me. I'm gonna check the TV before we step outside. Living off the land. Welcome to Living Off the Land. Now listen up. Summer's here, along with a whole slew of new crops to plant. Take hops, for example. The vines take a while to grow, but once they're mature, they can be harvested every day. Good luck. Alright, here we go. Wow. Everything is way more like bright yellow or bright green. It just looks like it's hotter. I love it. Alright. So when you change seasons in Stardew, a lot of like overgrowth happens on your farm. So I'll show you in a bit here, but when you walk around, you'll notice that there's like weeds and fallen wood and rocks have like partially overtaken. Not nearly as bad as when we first started, when there were like trees and rocks and logs everywhere, but there's like a smattering of weeds, rocks, and logs all around the farm. So one of your first tasks in a new season is to clear all that stuff up. Okay, so I'm just hoeing out the spaces where my crops are going to go. Fartomo is being a pest. That's okay. We still love him. Alright, and I almost forgot to take my screen cap, so let's go ahead and do that now. Screen cap. I like this too. You can see like the shadows of passing clouds. Kind of makes you think of those like dark thunder clouds and like heavy puffy clouds that you see in summer. You can see the shadow of it passing on the ground there. So there are new forage items in summer too. Keep a lookout for those. Here's one right here. It is a spice berry. I don't think that's a real thing, but in Stardew Land, a spice berry is a berry that fills the air with a pungent aroma. Okay. I'm here at Pierre's, and let's see all these awesome summer crops that I can plant. We got melons, which are kind of expensive, but we know that expensive crops are usually the best ones because they sell for more. Tomatoes. Tomatoes continue to produce after the first harvest. Blueberries. They also continue to produce after the first harvest. Peppers. Again, these produce after the first harvest. Wheat. It grows quickly, but then you cut it down and it's done. Radishes. Those are one and done. Poppies and spangles are two types of flowers. Hops starter. So this is like a vine. You grow it on a stake. Once it finishes growing, you get hops like every day for the rest of summer. And then corn. Plant these in the summer or fall. So if I plant corn now, it'll mature and then give me corn cobs all the way through the end of fall. Sunflower seeds. Alright, so what I'm going to do is get, I believe I'm going to do an entire 6x6 of melons. So that's going to be 32 melon seeds. Well, I got 34, whatever. I'll plant the others later. And I'm going to do 8 hops to start with. Hops are insanely profitable for reasons we'll see a bit later in the game. You can use the hops to create a certain something, perhaps brew up a certain beverage in hipster millennial fashion. Alright, so I'm going to put the hops on this ring here. And with periodic crops, it doesn't really matter whether you put down fertilizer. Then I'm going to water them up. And then lickety-split, it's all watered. The melons, I do want to put fertilizer down for melons. So I've got 11 to start with here. Putting down 32 seeds, so I need, what was that, 21 more fertilizers. If I fertilize these melons, they are more likely to be silver or gold star melons, which sell for insanely higher even than the normal melons. And I'm gonna water my melons real quick. Look how quick this is going. This is why upgrading your watering can is so OP. Yeah, so that took like a quarter of the time that it would have taken normally to water all 32 of those seeds. Alright, I'm gonna buy more. I'm gonna buy even more seeds. So I want to fill an entire 6x6 with blueberries, because the blueberries are insanely profitable as well, since they continue to make new blueberries after you plant them. Alright, so let's get 32 blueberry seeds. And we'll do 8 of tomatoes, 8 of peppers, and 8 of corn, and I can't really fit any more in my inventory right now. I might have to come back tomorrow to get more seeds. I'm not quite sure I'll have enough time to plant everything. Okay, so periodic crops, it's not as important to fertilize them. By the way, I think the way this actually works is the fertilizer only works on the first one that you harvest from a periodic crop, and the rest of them are not affected by the fertilizer. So because of that, it doesn't matter nearly as much to fertilize the periodic crops. Okay, I got my blueberries watered. Go ahead and plant my tomatoes here next to the hops. And we'll put peppers next to the tomatoes. Yeah, so for corn, I do corn a little bit differently. I don't do the 8 square ring with corn. Instead, I do rows. So I'm gonna go ahead and just plant 6 corn here like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This will be my corn row up here. I'll explain the reason why I did it like that a bit later. But it ends up looking better and being a lot easier to water if you plant the corn in rows like that. I've also got these summer squash that I picked up randomly from the ground. So, you know, I'm going to plant the summer squash. Since I have 6 of the seeds, I'm just going to plant summer squash next to the corn. Okay, I am feeling close to exhausted, but I have some salmon berries to perk myself up with. And now we can take a walk around the farm. So like I said, you can see that there's random bushes and stuff that has kind of appeared. Not the biggest deal. Tree aisle has some bushes that have grown in, but it's not too bad. Huh. So I just picked up some mixed flower seeds. I don't remember seeing this in the game. They might have added this in an update. It says, an assortment of flower seeds. Plant them and see what grows. Okay, I'll do that. And then I forgot that I have all these mixed seeds here too. Might as well throw these down next to the flower seeds. So the mixed seeds will grow any crop that is in season. So it can be a melon, a pepper, a blueberry, anything like that that grows in the summer. Oops. Did not mean to do that. Yeah, so this island that I'm standing on here that has the 6 stumps is going to be my animal island. So my barn and my coop are going to go here when I get around to messing with that. Okay. A pine tree has finished growing over this way, so we're going to put a tapper on that next time I get a chance. And I'm almost exhausted. I need to be careful. Plop down a mixed seed. See if anything finished in the mushroom house here. So that weird bronze contraption has produced a bag with a mushroom icon on it. These are dried common mushrooms. It's a package of gourmet mushrooms with a huge amount of energy and health. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to sell that and see what I get for it. If they don't actually sell for that much, then I'll probably use them as gifts or as, you know, for restoring energy. Somehow the scythe ended up in the treasure chest. Alright, oh, I got a strawberry jelly that finished. I'm going to throw that strawberry jelly in the bin. And I'm going to put a cauliflower in the preserves jar. Let's see what I get out of it. I should get cauliflower pickles. Alright, it's 10:30. Drift off. Alright, so the dried common mushrooms gave me 325 gold, which is pretty decent. Strawberry jelly got me 290. Not too bad. Here we are on day 2 of summer. Getting some sweet summer music. Go ahead and water the crops here. So I've said it before, but the music in Stardew Valley is just top-notch. It's really good. Each season has its own musical themes. There's like 3 or 4 musical themes for each season. And Eric Barone, the guy who created Stardew Valley, composed all of it himself. And I think the guy might actually be a genius because he made this game and he's also like a top-tier composer on top of it. These musical themes are like legitimately excellent. To me, they actually do a fine job of evoking the feeling of a season. I don't know how, but Barone pulled it off. Good job, buddy. Alright, and just like that, I have gotten all of my watering done before 8 a.m. And I used about half the energy bar. That's why you get the copper watering can, folks. Chopping down some trees here. Sustainable forestry, of course. Every tree that gets chopped gets replanted. Yeah, so this musical theme here has a sitar in it, and I suppose that sitar is evoking images of it being hot, like India or the Middle East or something like that. Maybe that's why it reminds me of summer or hot weather. Alright, so I'm going to go to Pierre's. And remember what I said before. I said that after the summer planting, I'm going to upgrade my backpack at last. And that's what we're going to do today. After today, we're no longer going to be stuck at 12 slots. We're going to be at 24. And it's going to be amazing. I just picked up a purple flower called the sweet pea. A fragrant summer flower. Alright, so if I go to the right side of the counter where the red bag is, I can upgrade my backpack to 24 slots for 2,000 gold. You got the large pack. Your inventory space has increased to 24. Oh, that's so nice. Alright, let's get more seeds. I want some wheat. We'll get 8 of those. I want some radishes. We'll get 8 of those. I want some poppies. We'll get 8 of those. I would like some spangles. We'll get 8 of those. And, you know, we'll get 8 sunflower seeds. And I think that's all of the summer seeds. At least the basic ones that you can get in the store. There are definitely other things you can plant in the summer, but you have to get them in places other than the store. Alright, I'm going to plant my wheat seeds in this section here. So the wheat is kind of cheap, so I never bother with fertilizing the wheat. This is my own personal preference there. And I don't think I quite have space for another 6x6 over this way. So I'll do a half-size area instead. Plant the radishes. And we'll go ahead and plant the poppies. Get everything watered up. I'm gonna need another scarecrow. It's alright, I have the resources for it. Craft a scarecrow. Plop him down here. Okay, what do I want to do now? Yeah, I think I'm going to make individual 3x3s up here, like this. Everything is like oblong shaped, So, or what I mean is the area of farmland that I have to work with here is kind of like weirdly shaped, so it doesn't really lend itself to perfectly geometric farms. If I want that, I'll need the basic farm, the one with that's a giant rectangle of open area. But on the Riverlands farm, the arable land is like weirdly shaped. And that's okay. The farm is still going to do just fine. Okay, there's a lot of crap to do. I need to water these. Alright, so that's all the farming that I'm going to do today. And I think it's the upper limit on how big of an area I can have with my current watering can and without sprinklers. Once we get sprinklers going, it's going to be a different story. Sprinklers will let you have just all the crops. So I'm going to make a couple of tappers. That'll be the last thing I do today. And we'll do 2 tappers. Throw that tapper on the pine tree there. And we'll throw the tapper on this pine tree right here. Yeah, I'm going to want to start thinking about upgrading another tool soon, too. Usually I go with the pickaxe as the second one, because the better pickaxe will let you break rocks and ores a lot easier in the mines. And I think after the pickaxe, I'm going to go with the axe. So I can finally start breaking these stumps. Okay. All right. Okay. Is there anything else to do? 7:40. It's not quite time to go to bed yet. Why don't we do some fishing? Caught a bream. Apparently breams are catchable in spring and summer. We got a challenging fish here. I wonder what this is. Perhaps a pike? I always remember pikes being hard to catch. Come on, come on, come on. Yep, it's a pike. The pike is a freshwater fish that's difficult to catch. Can't say that I disagree. Real quick, let's just get a torch made up for that other scarecrow. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and smoke that pike. Smoke the pike. Check the weather report. We haven't done this in a little while. It's going to be a beautiful sunny day tomorrow on summer the 3rd. Off to bed. There was an earthquake during the night. Interesting. Alright, so pine tar sells for 100 gold. The bream, 67. The pine tar is useful in some recipes, so it's a good thing to harvest pine tar. Alright, we wake up on the morning of Wednesday, summer the 3rd, and that's going to wrap it up. Peace.